Okay. Hi, guys, and welcome back to Financially Fluent. Now, I know it's been a while since I last posted my last video. It's been about 2 weeks, and I am sorry for that. I was working on some logistics, but I am through. I am done with that. Everything is set in place, and we can continue on smoothly. And so, without further ado, let us get on with today's topic. So, we have spoken about budgeting, we have spoken about investments and savings and investments, right? So, today I'd like us to look at some of the common mistakes that you, as a person who is starting on their financially literacy journey, you will end up doing. Sometimes you do them knowingly, sometimes unknowingly. But today, I'd like us to look at some 7 of those mistakes and what can we do? What can you do as a person so that you're able to avoid those mistakes even as you level up in your financial literacy journey? Okay, so the first mistake that I have here is not having a financial plan. And a financial plan, everything in life requires a plan. We plan for weddings, we plan for our children's birthdays, we plan for our education. So why not plan for your finances? You need a financial plan. If you want to build long-term wealth, if you want to leave a legacy for your children, if you want to have something that you're going to leave behind, you need a financial plan. And a financial plan may come in several ways, okay? Budgeting is an example of a financial plan, okay? And that is what we call a cash flow financial plan. You are planning on the cash flow that you're handling. You're planning on your expenses and your income versus your expenses, okay? So that is an example of a cash flow plan. We also have investment plans, okay? We also have investment plan is what we spoke about in our previous video when we spoke about savings and investments. When you are preparing, when you are planning for your investments, that is an investment plan, and it's very important to have an investment plan, okay? And also a retirement plan. A retirement plan is also very important, and we are going to actually come across a point that speaks on retirement, okay? So that is number one of the mistakes that a person who is just starting out on their financial literacy journey, you will end up doing is not having a financial plan, okay? And as I said, make sure that you have a financial plan, because remember, when you do not have a plan, you are actually planning to fail, okay? So let us not plan to fail, and let us have a plan that is working. And yeah, let's have a financial plan, okay? And then number 2 is overspending and lifestyle inflation. This happens especially if you just got a raise, or maybe your business has just boomed. It has added, your profits have become more than what they were. You end up increasing the lifestyle that you had. You end up overspending. You overspend on your shopping, on your basics. You end up increasing the lifestyle that you used to live. Instead of doing that, what you're supposed to do is increase on your investments, okay? So when you just get a raise, maintain. A time will come and you will automatically increase your lifestyle. But that time is not now, especially if you're just starting out on this journey of being financially literate. You first have to grow your investments, and then after you've grown your investments, even amidst the raise, do not increase your lifestyle, okay? Increase your investments, but not your lifestyle at this particular time. A time will come and your lifestyle will automatically increase. But when you're just starting out, it is not ideal for you to increase your lifestyle right now. Maintain, have more, increase the investments, okay? And when you get to a point when your money is literally working for you, then maybe not even maybe, your lifestyle will automatically just improve. Okay, so that is number 2. Number 3 is neglecting an emergency fund. An emergency fund is your safety net to emergencies. And we all know that life is unpredictable. Anything can happen at any given time. Okay, so you need an emergency fund, and you need to make sure that your emergency fund covers at least 3 to 6 months of your of your monthly living expenditures. So let's say, for example, in your household, you use 40,000 on a monthly basis. That is in Kenyan shillings. Maybe you use 40,000 Kenyan shillings on a monthly basis. That is your rent. That is your food. That is your clothing. Maybe your transport, if you commute from point A to point B, your utilities, all that sum up to 40,000 Kenyan shillings. So by saying 3 to 6 months, that means if you have 3 months of your household expenditures saved, that means that is 40 by 3, and that is 120,000. Okay. If it is 6 months, then that means you're supposed to have 240,000 Kenyan shillings put aside somewhere for your emergency fund. So you're not supposed to have a minimum of 120,000 if your net worth in your household is 40,000, and at least 120 to 240. So yes, you can go beyond the 240. There's no maximum limit, but there is a minimum limit. And the minimum is do not have less than 3 months of your household living expenditure saved up somewhere for your emergency fund. And remember that the place where you're putting this money for your emergency fund, the place has to be liquid. It has to be somewhere where you're able to access these funds when an emergency pops up. And whenever there's an emergency, that means that situation needs to be handled right there and right then. Okay, it cannot wait for a week, it cannot wait for a month, so that your money can get processed and then you have it. So make sure whatever you're using for an emergency fund, and I will most likely recommend a money market fund, because a money market fund is very liquid. Okay, so wherever you're using, whatever means you're using to save up for your emergency fund, make sure it is liquid. Okay, and you leave it, you set it aside for emergencies. All right, that is number 3. And then number 4 is obviously misusing credit cards. Now, I personally do not have any grudge on credit cards, but also I have an experience with credit cards, and I actually wrote it on my blog. I have a blog. I'll leave a link in the description box. Go through it. I write so many things, from lifestyle to finance and everything. It's general. But there is an article about credit cards that I wrote from my own experience on credit cards. Okay, so I do not have any grudge on credit cards. I have one. I love using it, especially when you're going for shopping. It's pretty cool, and you give out your card and they just swipe your card, and it's pretty amazing. So yeah, but anyway, if you do not know how to use your credit card, that card will really hurt you. First thing you have to know with a credit card, do not allow the money that you have spent, maybe you spent it in March, do not allow it to roll over to April and May. Make sure that you pay off your credit card debts on a monthly basis. Okay? Every month, every time you use your card, make sure you refund, make sure you return that money before it hits the end of the month. Because the moment it gets to end month and your card has a balance, obviously there's a debit balance fee that will be charged on your credit card, amongst many other charges. So a credit card is good, but be wise. Know how to use a credit card. And remember, a credit card is an example of a debt that has very high interest, especially if you do not pay it back on time. It has a huge interest. So be wise on how you're spending your credit card. Okay, and then number 5 is not investing early. So remember that when it comes to investments and building wealth, time is your greatest ally. Time is your greatest ally when you're building wealth. So you need to start investing now. Do not tell yourself, oh, I'm 25, so I'll just start investing when I'm 30. Time flies. Time literally flies. And before you know it, you'll be 30, you've started a family, you do not have any investments anywhere. Leverage on time, especially if you're a young person. Leverage on time right now. Let time plus compound interest, let it work wonders. Let it work magic on your investments. All right? And believe you me, your future self will thank you later. Okay? And then number 6 is ignoring retirement savings. This is something else, especially for if you're employed, you have no option. You just have to save for your retirement savings because it's pre-deducted before you're given your net salary. So the NSSF has already taken their bit. So your retirement savings are at least guaranteed, okay? But if you're a business person, stop, especially if you're a sole proprietor. For example, our dear women who run the vibandas and maybe the M-Pesa shops, the small shops here at your home. Most of these people do not have a retirement savings. Most of you guys are ignoring retirement savings and you're forgetting that very soon you will retire and you're going to need these savings so that you do not end up having to rely on your children to feed you. And this is a mentality that we as Africans, I don't know if it's generally Africans or it's just Kenyans, we know that once you've retired, now you go home, sit back, relax, and wait for your children to feed you. It's not supposed to be that way. Remember that the Bible says a good person is one who leaves an inheritance for their children. Not just for your children, but also for your children's children, up to the 4th generation. So where will you get the money to live for your grandchildren if you do not start investing right now, if you do not have a retirement savings? You need a retirement savings so that you can retire peacefully, so that you can be able to do the things that you love once you're retired, okay? And that way you will not be a burden to anyone, okay? And I say this with all love and respect, okay? Let us stop ignoring retirement savings. And also, I am not saying that we should neglect our parents. No, we also have a responsibility towards our parents. They are our parents and we're supposed to acknowledge them and to take care of their needs whenever they arise, okay? So do not get me wrong. We should love and take care of our parents, but also while you're still young, start preparing for your retirement savings and start preparing for the wealth of your children's children, okay? And then number 7, the 7th and the last common mistake that you as an individual that is starting on financial literacy journey might do is not investing in financial education. Okay, so knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Especially when it comes to knowledge about your money. Okay, so you need this knowledge. You need to invest in financial education. And what we are doing right now, we are literally learning about how to be financially fluent. Being fluent in something means you're so good at it that you can speak it. When you speak, you just speak finance. When you speak, you just speak about money. That is the whole purpose of being financially fluent. And so that is the aim of this channel. We are aiming to be financially fluent people in the society so that we can be able to impact others that are not, so that they can also become financially fluent. All right? And with that, I'd urge you to subscribe to this channel, because we are going to be taking a deep dive on what finance is. We are going to be speaking all matters finances. Okay, so with that said and done, guys, those are some of the 7 mistakes that you as an individual might find yourself doing while you're starting on this financial literacy journey. And I have given you some of the ways or the tactics you can use to avoid these mistakes. Okay, so that's it from me today. Make sure you remember to subscribe, to share, to like, and to comment. Until next time, I will see you.